Hey guys, what's going on and welcome to a brand new video. If you're new to the channel, please make sure you do subscribe. We are 5 subscribers away from hitting 1.2k. So if you haven't already, make sure you do subscribe. Like the video because it helps to get out to more people. And let's get into it. So today is going to be your last Premier League predictions for the season. Of course, because we're up to game week 38. Now let's go back as we always do at the beginning and go through how I did in game week 37. We start off with Aston Villa versus Liverpool, where I predicted a Villa and a Liverpool 1-1 draw. I predicted a 1-1 draw. Aston Villa ended up smashing Liverpool and winning that game 4-2. Next game we had was Man United versus Nottingham Forest. I said Man United will win this comfortably, 2-0. And my prediction looked pretty close to happening. You know, they were winning comfortably. Then all of a sudden Forest came back and it was a tight game at the end where Man United just scraped through and won the game 3-2. So at least I got the right team that won, at least. The next game was Brentford versus Crystal Palace. I predicted a 2-1 win to Brentford, thinking they'll get over the line. It ended up being a 2-2 draw where, you know, both teams scored twice and it ended up being a draw. But I'm not that far off. You know, if Palace scored one less goal, I would have been correct. So I'm not far off. Not far off and a decent score prediction. Next game was Everton versus Sunderland, where I predicted an Everton 2-0 win. Everton ended up losing this game after going 1-0 up. They ended up losing this game 3-1 to Sunderland. Next up was Leeds United versus Brighton. I said this game would end 2-2 and be a draw. Leeds United ended up winning with the last kick of the game, basically. Dominic Calvert-Lewin, as we went on to win that game 1-0. The next game was Wolves versus Fulham. I said Fulham would win this game comfortably 3-0 and an easy win. It ended up being a 1-1 draw and Wolves getting another point on the board, as they are, of course, bottom of the league. Next up was Newcastle versus West Ham. I thought West Ham were going to win this game. I thought West Ham had the fight to try and stay in this league. They were going to fight, they were going to survive, and then they ended up losing and getting absolutely battered. They were 3-0 down. They scored one back. They had a couple of chances where you could say, oh, they could get back into this if one of those go in, but they weren't able to score a second goal and get back into it, and they lost the game 3-1. So Newcastle won that game. Next up was Arsenal versus Burnley. I said Arsenal would win this comfortably. I said 2-0 Arsenal. I thought they would win that comfortably. They ended up winning 1-0 from a set piece, where, you know, Burnley didn't really trouble them at all, though. Like, Burnley didn't trouble them, but you could honestly say Burnley were the better team. You could honestly say in that game Burnley were the better team, but you know, when you win the league, that's what you do. You step up in moments, and Arsenal did that, and they ended up scoring the goal that wins them the league, basically, because the next game was Bournemouth versus Man City. You're going into that game thinking, yeah, Man City will probably win this game. You know, they'll make it go down to the final day. We'll get to a final day at least and have some tension on the final day in the in the title race. But no, Man City, I predicted a 1-0 win to Man City. They ended up drawing this game 1-1, where they scored like the last kick of the game as well, basically, to get a point, which isn't enough, and Arsenal are Premier League champions. And the final game of the game week was Chelsea versus Spurs, and I predicted a 1-1 draw, thinking, yeah, Spurs would draw this game. All of a sudden, Spurs lose the game 2-1, and the relegation battle has going down to the final day. That's it for your Game Week 37 Premier League predictions. I did not do that well. I did absolutely terrible, actually. But yeah, we're going to get into Game Week 38, the final game week for Premier League predictions. So the first game we got is Brighton versus Man United, and I think Man United are going to have too much for Brighton on the final day. Seeing how they played against us as well, Brighton, I don't think they were that great. I think Man United will have too much for them. But what we've got to always talk about is the final game of the season, Game Week 38. There always seems to be a lot of goals, and it seems to be more goals on the final day than any other game week. I think that's like an actual thing, that there seems to be just more goals on the final game week than any other game week. So I'm going to say Man United are going to win this game, and I think they're going to win it 2-1. The next game we've got is Burnley versus Wolves, two teams that are going to be playing in the Championship next season, and I think this game is going to end 2-2. I think this will be actually an entertaining game to watch. I mean, no one's actually going to watch it, but I think it's going to be actually like a high-scoring game, and I think both teams will score twice, and the game will end with a 2-2 draw. Next game we've got is Crystal Palace versus Arsenal, the champions Arsenal against Crystal Palace, and I think this game is going to end in a 1-1 draw. I just have that feeling that, you know, Arsenal, they've already won the league, they've been celebrating, and I think Crystal Palace will manage to get a point in this game, and it'll end 1-1. Next game we got is Fulham versus Newcastle, and I think Fulham are going to win this game. I just have that feeling that Fulham are going to have too much for Newcastle. I think it's going to be a tight game, though, and that's why I'm only going for a 2-1 Fulham win. So I think it's going to be a close game, but I think Fulham will get over the line and win this game 2-1. The next game we got is Liverpool versus Brentford, and how badly Liverpool have played lately, I can't predict them to win. I just can't do that. That's why I'm going to say Brentford are going to win this game, and I think Brentford are going to win it 2-1. 2-1. So I think there's going to be a lot of, you'll see my predictions, there's a lot of 2-1s here. But yeah, I think Brentford will have too much for Liverpool and win this game 2-1 in a tight game. Manchester City will play Aston Villa. I think Man City are going to win this game now. It just feels like, the title race is down, of course. Arsenal have won the league, but I feel like Villa are going to, Man City are going to win this game, especially watching Aston Villa. I know they beat Liverpool, but before then they've had a couple of poor performances, against the likes of, Spurs. I mean, they were absolutely awful in that game, and they've been not great recently. I think Man City will end up winning this game, but again, I think it's going to be another 2-1 tight game. Next up, we have the Bournemouth versus Forest. Forest versus Bournemouth, and I think this game is going to end in a 2-1 win to Bournemouth. I think Bournemouth are going to end up winning this game, but it's again another 2-1 because I just think there's going to be a bunch of 2-1s on the final day. I don't know why. I just have that feeling there's going to be a bunch of 2-1s. Or maybe a couple of these 2-1s might turn to like 3-2s. I think there's gonna be goals. There's gonna be goals on the final day. I can assure you on that. But yeah, I think Bournemouth will have a bit too much for Forest on this in the last game of the season. I think they're gonna win it 2-1. Next game we've got is Spurs versus Everton, and I think Everton are gonna win this game. I think Everton are gonna win it 2-1. Watching Spurs, I understand they've actually played decently recently, like they're actually playing some good, decent football, but I just think Everton are going to win this game. I think Everton are going to have too much for Spurs on the final day. Spurs, of course, at home as well, where they don't do well. They do poorly at home. So I do think Everton are going to end up getting the 3 points in this game in a 2-1 close game. The next game we've got is Sunderland, and they're going to be playing Chelsea. This is where I've gone with the highest score. This is the highest score I've gone with for the final game week. I think Sunderland actually end up beating Chelsea, and I think it's going to be a high-scoring game. That's why I'm going 3-2 win to Sunderland. I think this is going to be the highest-scoring game on the final day, and Sunderland are going to get over the line and win this game 3-2. And the final game of the game week is West Ham versus Leeds United. And unfortunately for West Ham, I do think they're going to get relegated on the final day as Leeds United go to West Ham and win this game 2-0. Just based off how we've played since December, I just don't see I don't see West Ham getting a point against us. I don't see West Ham winning. I think they do need a win though, don't they? Yeah, they do. They can't draw. They need a win basically, and that's it. And I just can't see that happening. I just can't see them actually beating us just because the form that we've been in. Even, you talk about, we're already safe and all that. We're already safe, and then we performed like that against Brighton. The performance wasn't great, and I can understand going into this game where you think maybe West Ham can get the 3 points because we're basically down to our bare bones. We're basically down to our bare bones with all of our players that have been injured, all our players that are injured. Now we've got Stuck out as well, so there's a lot of injuries going into the final day for Leeds United. So maybe that gives West Ham a slight chance of beating us on the final day, but I do think no matter who comes in for Leeds United, the way that everyone has played this season when they've come in, they've all stepped up, and I think that's going to happen again, unfortunately, for West Ham, and Leeds United will confirm their relegation with a 2-0 win. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Make sure you do like and subscribe if you haven't already, of course, because we are 5 subscribers away for 1.2k, so subscribe. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace.